How will you approach a girl like her on the street?
It depends on the situation, like where we were at. Okay, so as an example, let's say we're at a bar. Okay.
He's way too comfortable right there.
So let's say that we're at a bar. It depends on the situation. Is she with her friends or is she alone at the bar? If she's alone at the bar, that makes the situation really easy because.
But I have to ask you, do you have a really good sex life?
Of course. I think the trick is novelty and spontaneity. When you can be adventurous. And remember that the most important organ is between
your legs.
Your ears.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh,
your ears.
The mind fucking. I 100% agree. I talk about this all the time. The mind fucking before you fucking is so important. It's like better than the, how do you call it? The pregame? No, the...
Foreplay, orgasm.
She knows the terminology.
Before the foreplay.
So talk more about that with the
let's talk about that.
Well, I think, one of the things, so I love this quote from Esther Perel, sex is not something you do, it's a place you go.
Oh, I love that. Hashtag that shit.
If we can go to this place, the invitation, I think for men, not only holding the space, but you were talking, when you can be intentional and you can invite women, we don't want to just, we don't want to, it's kind of like I use the analogy of the restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. Men usually go for the main course, and don't get me wrong, the main course is delicious, it's the filet mignon.
That's right.
But women, we go in and we're like, oh, what is the ambience and the music and the smells? We're very sensual. Mm-hmm. So sensuality for a woman is so important. Get me interested, right? Invite me. I think that's a lot of the times where sensuality, intimacy, and good sex really happens.
Now we're gonna do a little test talking about sensuality and the senses and the teasing. I have brought a really hot friend of mine that she is going to show you what happens when you are very sensual and you stimulate the senses.
I think I see I'm nervous already.
We have something for you. Let's see how Kay reacts to this. Come on in, beauty. Woo!
Hi there.
Hello. It's funny that you sit next to him and now on top of his lap. I would have done the lap for sure. Yeah, let's play with him.
Well, I kind of don't want to lean too much in. I just want to.
Oh.
There we go. She's gonna start with the little tease. Just come in slowly and slowly work her way in. Is that it?
Yeah. He just jumped
right in the water.
What was your name?
Megan. I'm Carl. Great to meet you.
So,
where'd you find her?
I brought her especially for you from Texas. How about that? Because I am so nice to you.
See, I didn't know anything about Texas, but I think I'm a big fan now. Right? This is great.
How will you approach a girl like her on the street?
It depends on the situation, like where we were at. Okay, so as an example, let's say we're at a bar. Okay.
He's way too comfortable right there.
So let's say that we're at a bar. It depends on the situation. Is she with her friends or is she alone at the bar? If she's alone at the bar, that makes the situation really easy because while most women, especially attractive women, like all of you ladies, right, tend to portray that they're confident, and this is locker room men's talk, right? This is what we perceive about you. What happens is no one likes to be alone. No one wants to be by themselves, right? And so I would typically approach while most people are kind of looking like, I don't know, maybe she's by herself because she wants to be by herself and not bothered. And I'm there like, fuck that shit.
You're going to ask and make sure she doesn't want to be alone.
I'm going to make sure that she wants to be with me, right? Exactly. So I'm showing up, whether you're waiting for someone else, whether you want to be alone. I'm thinking you only want to be alone because you haven't experienced what it's like to have drinks at the bar with me.
Exactly. Oh my God. Wow. Do you think that's
say that.
ABC always be closing?
Really attractive.
Yeah.
Really aphrodisiac. But I think to your point, Earl, I think, men, it is okay to be rejected. Don't be afraid to get a no. Don't let this no doom you and now you go home sad. No. Actions of confidence come first, feelings come second. Yes. You went up there, you asked, right? And then you succeeded. So good job, success coach.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Right?
Do you think those skills have made you better with women? Your coaching skills?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it goes back to just feeling self-confident, all right? So here's what happens. I started off working in sales. And in sales, you have to get good at dealing with rejection, right? And so you have two types of people. You have the person that runs away from it, and then you have the person that welcomes it. And early on, I had a mentor. He was a seven-figure earner, and I was striving just to make my first six-figure income at the time, and I was like 20, 21 years old. But he said, Carl, you want to be the #1 producer in this company that has over 10,000 sales reps. Here's the secret. He says, learn to love failure.
Yes.
And he says, don't just accept it as part of the process, right? But he says, I want you to pursue it. And so he says, when you're making these dials, if you know you have to talk to 50 people before you get one, most people call one, reject it, and they take it personally. Oh my gosh, that hurts.
Yes.
And then it's like calling the next one, and then it hurts. But he said, look, if you look forward to, I need 50 no's, rejections, and when you get the rejection, you're like, yes, woohoo, 49 more. And then you go through 10 more, you're like, yes, I only got 30 more. I took that concept to the club.
It's a matter of perception. It's funny because we didn't speak too much when we went to the Epic Talks together, but I knew right away that you were like a go-getter. We spoke for about 5 minutes, and I was like, you need to come. The energy, the level of confidence in a very humble way was quite refreshing, because some guys, they want to be like the main center of attention, but in a very, it's not even confident. I think it comes from insecurity, actually. So yours was humble, which makes me believe that you're like happy with who you are.
Absolutely.
I have to agree with you. We went in the elevator. No.
Yeah, we were in the elevator.
Oh, you guys were in the elevator together?
It was walking in.
And he was just like, hi. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
In a very pleasant way, right?
And it just, I know that she felt cool because she walked in by herself. I walked in with a little posse, right? We had like 5 or 6 of us.
But they all were like, hi. I'm like, oh, you're awesome.
And how did it make you feel?
Welcomed. And I know it wasn't even his event, so I'm thinking, who is he?
Who the hell is he?
A hand in this? Because I know Melissa. But no, it was that confidence that it will, because everybody, and that's probably why he's so good at sales. And what you just said about going to the bar, like with your experience in sales, it's like you know how to ask for the sale. Because you know that if you don't ask for the sale, there's no way you're gonna get it.
You're not gonna get it. But the whole thing also is you have to be okay not taking a failure person. So let's say I saw 50 Megans at the club, right? I'd walk up and I'd be like, hi, how you doing? Now, being an attractive woman in the club, all eyes on all of you women, right? You guys have to have what I call the bitch shield, okay?
I have that. I'm
a
really
bitch
good at
shield.
that. I'm so good at it.
Research right here.
I'm telling you. And the bitch shield is basically, it's because you women, especially if you're an attractive woman, right, you're going to have standards as to who you're actually looking for, right? You don't want to scrub, right? You don't want to scrub. You don't want someone that it doesn't meet your criteria or your qualifications, right? So you have to have this wall, and you don't have enough time to really sort out the room either. I can't get to know 200 people in the span of 2 hours while you're hanging out. So you have this wall, and it's subconscious most of the time, but while you have it, it's like, okay, if anyone can overcome this barrier, then I'll give them my attention.
It's not just that barrier, though. I will say, as speaking as a female, constantly get approached all the time. How do you set yourself apart?
How do you set yourself apart, right? You don't want to be, oh, you're talking about me?
Yes.
Oh.
She's talking to you directly.
Okay, so what happens? So I go through, I just look for the rejection, right? I need to have her reject me, and then it's like, okay, cool, there's 50 more of you in the club. Unless you have to not care, because what happens is if she sees me talk to her, right? I approach her at a lounge, at a club, at a bar, at a restaurant, and she sees that like she's busy, she's with her friends. I interrupted your energy, your conversation. That's annoying, right? And you don't want to have that happen 50 times during the night. Now it's like you guys are too much, right?
Yes.
But so what happens is I have to decide whether she's that diamond in the rough or just another girl. Now let's say I saw Megan and I'm like, ooh, you
Wife
are the
material
diamond,
right there.
wife material, diamond in the rough, right? I need to basically find out, okay, I got rejected, right? I can't take it personally, but what's going to be my next move to make sure I stand out? Because everyone else would just choose to walk away, you know?
Not you.
She said no. So maybe I go back to my table where I was sitting at in the restaurant. I'm going to basically tell the bartender, hey, come over here, the waiter, come over here. I have a little question for you. Here's $20. And then what I do is I draw a little tic-tac-toe symbol on a napkin and I say, can you bring it to that little young lady right over there? And then they bring this tic-tac-toe thing, and then she's looking at me like, what the hell is this? And then you're with your girls, and you're saying, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And you look at me, and he says, that came from him. I didn't buy you a drink, because that's typical. Every guy will basically want to do that if they're ballsy. I did something different. Now you're looking at this paper. I don't know what it is. You're looking at me, and I'm like, come on, play. It's your turn. You're up.
Always be closing. Something different, something so catchy but cute, right? Would that grab your attention, Megan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course it would.
Yeah. I think he's really hitch on the side. That's his real face. It looks like Will Smith.
How do you girls feel about this? How do you girls feel about this? I love, so refreshing to see like a guy like poised like that. You know what I mean? Not in like you don't have like a big head or anything, but I can see you're super confident and comfortable when you're on skin.
Thank you.
That's why I picked you. You see, because I have an eye for talent.
I think it's more than that. I think you have a sense for energy, which I have that too.
100%.
And it's like we didn't even exchange that many words.
No, it's crazy.
But you felt the energy, the vibes like kind of connected, and it's like, oh, you're like me. It's like, wait, we need to connect. We need to do something.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think it goes back to the invitation, right? Like the way that you're inviting is creative, it's inviting, and I think also, you know, when it comes to, everybody has a different seductive style, right? So the people that are seductive visually, usually they will pick the person that's in the corner instead of everybody that's dancing, or maybe somebody that's wearing like a cool pair of glasses. So I think other than the invitation, we each are attracted to different traits in other people. So I also find that really interesting. But I think the creativity, you know, when it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy you a drink, I mean, thank you, I appreciate it. But you know, you're doing something different,
and I
think
different.
that's what, you know, engages you.
Yes.
And it makes you memorable because people will remember how you make them feel, you know. I keep on hearing this word sapiosexual, and I know it is that you are like turned on by people like when they're super smart. Can you develop a little bit? Is that true that you can be, is that a little bit of the mind fucking that we're talking about? How does that stimulate your sex life?
I mean, I think, you know, yes, anything that stimulates the mind, right? It stimulates everything else. If the mind is not connected to the body, nothing is going to happen. You can be like 50 Shades of Grey with Brad Pitt back in Fight Club and nothing is going to move, nothing is going to happen. But I think people that are more attracted to like intellectual people, you know, that I think that's just a preference, right? But I think when it comes to people that are really into the intellectual and going back to confidence, you have to know how to wear your confidence well. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more horrible when a guy is very conceited, or, you know, I know and I'm smart and I have money, and that's such a turn off, boner killer. Literally.
Hey guys, welcome to Break Up Like a Boss, your YouTube channel and podcast where you are going to get inspired and create magic. What is your intention, purpose, and passion in your life? What do you have to break up with in order to be the boss of your new one? What is your legacy? We are going to help you find out what is people going to miss you for when you're not longer around. We have a great panel, so stay tuned and check it out.